The most powerful use of art is often overlooked. Today, art as a consumable, like movies, books, games, even ads, is the primary focus of most businesses and therefore the art that the general populace consume. This is because we live in a consumer economy. Artists need to eat food and they do that by selling their art or getting hired by a studio that then pays them to make art. But often this use of selling and consuming overshadows other uses of art that are just as valuable, such as art to create culture, to educate, to learn more about yourself, to learn more about the world, and to convey and share emotion. Note that was paraphrased from, I think his name is Demed Tishin. He commented on one of my LinkedIn posts. Famous music producer Rick Rubin once said, "The audience doesn't know what they want. They only know what they've already seen." Creating purely for consumption's sake often leads to shallow work because its focus is on selling, pop value, wow factor, rather than digging into the deeper facets of human existence. That's why the most powerful use of art is to express emotion, to share emotion, to evoke emotion, both in the artist and in the audience. Art, whether visual, poetic, narrative, evokes emotion by framing experience and perspective. Think back to your favorite movie, book, or game. Why that one? Why is that one your favorite? You might say, because it's really cool. Like I would definitely say the Elder Scrolls Oblivion is really cool, especially the remastered version. But on a deeper level, why is that game really cool? I think of the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I love that series, not just because King is a great storyteller, but also because it had a personal aspect to it for me. I grew up on Camino Island, rural countryside with a ton of forests, and I grew up as an only child. So I would go and play in these woods by myself and make little maps of them and tell little stories about space pigs that took over the forest. And although there are no space pigs in the Dark Tower series, the lonely quest of Roland the Gunslinger to reach the Dark Tower mimicked in a certain way my own lonely quests as a kid, but added a level of emotion to it that I hadn't had previously, evoking a sense of awe and grandeur at this dark fantasy world that was undergirded by a personal experience of having had a similar quest, albeit much less grand. When an audience feels an emotional connection to a piece of work, a piece of art, they are much more likely to be invested in that work of art. Consequently, I think the focus that we should have when making art is a focus on emotion, a focus on storytelling, and allowing our viewers to relate to that art. So here's a story. I missed my opportunity to meet the master memory artist Kim Jung Gi by 11 days. I was going to Lightbox 2022 and he was gonna have a booth there and he was gonna be doing one of his live drawings where he draws on one of these huge canvases with no undersketch, no reference, which if you've seen some of my shorts, you know that I did a series of shorts in the past where I tried to draw from just memory, no reference, no undersketch. It's hard, it is not easy, but Kim Jung Gi was known for drawing these huge pieces of art just freehand. He unfortunately passed away October 3rd, 11 days before Lightbox. Lightbox was October 14th, 2022. The disappointment I felt cannot be overstated because he was one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Lightbox, because he had inspired artists that I look up to. So he was the ultimate master. When I got to Lightbox, his booth was replaced with a giant canvas that artists were allowed to draw on. And I didn't draw on it because I was stuck sitting with a question. How did he evoke emotion so well with his art? And I have pared it down to 3 different things that I think he did really well. First, he drew from personal experience. He famously memory drew. So he would look at his surroundings, computers, keyboard, and he would look for inspiration. And he would mentally note the things he saw in his head that inspired him. And he would remember them for later to draw. What this really shows is tapping into our own personal experiences, our own memories, is possibly the greatest fountain of inspiration and of emotion. Chances are that if something inspired you, it can also inspire someone else. Number 2 is that transparency is greater than theater. Which is funny to say because Kim Jung Gi's performances were almost theatrical. He made it big. He made it worth watching. But in the process, he was very transparent. He didn't go in cheating. He didn't come with a sketch prepared that he was going to draw over. People can usually tell when we try to be something we're not. I think of method actors because actors are obviously very good at pretending to be something they're not. But method actors become the character they're portraying. They act out that character in their daily life. The greatest emotional depth is when we act with transparency, laying out all our vulnerabilities, doing things that maybe people don't like, but doing them because we love to do them. I remember watching a video, kind of shocked as like a young 16-year-old artist, watching a video about how Kim Jung Gi drew NSFW stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. But looking back on it now, it's like that man held nothing back. He drew what he wanted to draw, and if people didn't like it, he didn't care. He just did what he did. And I think that was in part his success, because when he was a kid, his parents did not want him to be an artist. And they really discouraged him until he showed an aptitude in it. And that's when they started to encourage him. If Kim Jung Gi didn't push forward to the point where he had aptitude, he might have never been an artist. So be transparent with what you like, who you think you are. Don't try to be someone else. And number 3 is embrace imperfection. Dude, Kim Jung Gi would go into a room with a blank canvas and draw an entire scene on it. Do you know how many mistakes he probably made along the way? Probably so many in his brain, but we couldn't see them because he was at such a higher level. That said though, he likely knew those mistakes. And there's a clip out there of him talking about like how he compared himself to other artists online, and how he said like the comparison game never stops. Perfection is a moving target. As we grow in skill, so does the level of perfection. Embrace imperfection. Be willing to release stuff that is not perfect, because chances are the audience will fill in the gaps, and the imperfections will show that transparency. It'll show the vulnerabilities behind the art you are creating. So summarizing, how do you evoke emotion with art? I've already talked about why emotion is more important than just consuming or selling art, and why emotion is really the undergird to any great piece of art. So how can you and I as an artist create art that is able to evoke emotion? 1, draw from your personal experience. Don't try to copy others. You have a very rich life. Embrace that life. Number 2, transparency is greater than theater. Don't try to be somebody else. Be transparent with who you are. Granted, who you are changes, but that's another topic for another video. And number 3, embrace imperfection. Nothing in this world is perfect. Some of life's greatest discoveries come out of imperfections. Anyway, that's the video. I'm trying to upload more frequently. We'll see how that goes. I've tried to do YouTube since 2012, so I hope you have a great day. Remember to drink water. And this video is sponsored by the Quest Journal. It's a journal I made to track your experiences so that way you can succeed at life and do amazing things. Unfortunately, life is not gamified enough, and I love the quest system of Oblivion, Skyrim, and all the other RPG games, so I made this little journal so you can track quests in real life, whether it be going on a midnight expedition to a beach, or climbing a mountain for a sunrise hike or sunset hike, or making dinner for your friends and family. You can check it out on my website at ekpat.com/shop. Check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out. I'm gonna finish this cheese stick first. It is not string cheese. You cannot pull it apart. Granted, if it was string cheese, I would still eat it like this. So if that was too visceral. All right, this thing is long.